Ready?
Speak into your microphones, please. It needs less work for me.
All right, I'm gonna call to order the Park Board for March 18th, 2025. Did everybody get a chance to read the January's minutes? Any questions? Anything?
Have you met Jimmy?
Okay, so I'm asking for a motion to approve the January's minutes.
Make the motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Second, okay. Motion and second, any more discussion? Motion's approved. Next, new business. We're gonna go right to the wheelchair swing. Or Dylan's not here yet, so. Excuse me. What you got?
Okay. So I asked Sarah and some of her families to come to this meeting. Sarah knows, but we would like to try to keep moving forward with getting that wheelchair accessible swing put into Veterans Park. And you guys got the picture. I'll bring you guys a couple here. So, part of this is what was presented to me the first time. The only addition would be the molded plastic seat. So that swing, as it is shown in the picture, is about $5,000. And then, once we add in the area that it would go, involving like the plastic timbers, the mulch, concrete, basically the foundation of it, we're looking at just under $15,000. Now, you know, the swing that I had looked at prior was $40,000. And I had just first started, so that's kind of what I was leaning towards. I wanted to make sure we were being safe. Now, Byron has this exact swing minus the molded seat. When I had spoke with the folks from Byron, they're supposed to chain up that platform every night. Now, given the location of that swing is in a much secluded area compared to what Veterans Park would be, where that swing is going to be facing towards the pool. It's right next to the pool. There's going to be all sorts of kids around. The biggest thing when we had picked the location was to make sure that we don't seclude that swing from the park. We wanted that swing to be part of the park. We wanted to be involved with the other kids. So I guess I'm kind of going back, and I would like to shoot for this swing. Now, I'm wondering, I did apply for a grant through SHIP. I applied for I just flat out asked for 12.5. I haven't heard back yet on it. I don't know when I'm going to hear back on it. I'm just wondering, from your families, is there a way we can do some fundraising? If you guys could get a committee together, a group together to make some fundraising to help get this accomplished. I mean, my goal realistically would be by the end of this year. I mean, by fall. I'd love to have it in. My crew can install it. My crew can do all the dirt work, all that stuff. I just would love to see this be put into our park.
I think looking at donations is going to be probably one of, like, I know looking at a lot of the grants, I don't know much about the SHIP grants, but every grant I either looked at or applied for were match grants, so they're going to want to see that we have some funds somewhere. If we have zero, we're pretty much immediately disqualified from getting the grant. But I know, like, myself and talking to some community members, business owners, I do think there'd be some support from people giving that, and all of you have, like, connections in town, too, where I think a a few of the families too, knowing different businesses, I do think we garner more money than we might think. I guess my leaning, and then obviously it's a city thing, so it'd be your, and I'd like to start with that, like asking businesses and see if we can get people, you know, like at the $1,000 to like $5,000 mark, giving bigger chunks, instead of like a small scale fundraiser where it's like a couple dollars here or there, and then maybe do a push for that if we need more. What are your thoughts on that? Like if we got a flyer, and I'd be happy to go out to the businesses, and I'm sure you guys would connect, like if you have connections to certain businesses in town, the family is going out and saying, I want this for my own child to use.
I mean, I could even make up a flyer, and me and you can work
Yeah.
together again on that. I wanna see us have something started. I don't wanna sit here and rely on like the SHIP grant or
Yeah.
anything. That's kinda why, you know, I reverted back to this swing. I wanna be realistic with it. I wanna try to get something accomplished. I wanna make it, you know, good for everyone. The other thing,
Did anybody ever reach out to Mayo? Has a letter been sent?
no.
No?
I think we need like this, that we need like something concrete, we need a flyer that says cost, timeline.
Yep.
Like, I think up until this point, you've had too much of like, we wanna do this, but we don't really have a plan.
See, and
I
like,
think if we get.
I think now, I feel like I have a better start because I have a breakdown of, you know, what the border costs, what the mulch costs, what the concrete would be you know, the cost in the concrete. And I did try to estimate high on those costs, so I used what we had gotten from that swing prior. I used those costs, but I bumped them up a little bit just because of, I wanna make sure we're gonna get enough. And if we happen to, you know, raise more money than needed, I want to put standalone features along the sidewalk, like sensory features, you know, whether it's the drums or, you know, I wanna steer clear of electronics, but I want, if we had enough money to add some other items, I would love to do that. We have plenty of room for that.
And you said it's how many pounds that it,
So when I looked it up, it was roughly 400 pounds that swing could hold.
Is this within the existing wood chip area?
Nope, we would be making a new area. It would be on the west side, so it would be up by the sand diggers. So it would be close to a sidewalk.
Very close to the sidewalk?
Yep, we wouldn't need to do much for concrete work other than up to the swing. And my plan was to, they make a pad that goes over the concrete, so it's like a, you know, a fall-proof pad. I would love to have that on top of the concrete sidewalk up to the swing.
Sarah, are there many people in the community with electric wheelchairs of kids? Because an electric wheelchair is very heavy.
Yeah, so that would be my only concern, because my father's in a wheelchair, and his wheelchair alone is 400 pounds. I mean, I don't foresee him wanting to get on a swing, but I don't know.
We would have to have,
We don't have, to my knowledge, kids like throughout the CAM district, we don't have anybody in the electric wheelchair at this point.
Okay.
Adult ones tend to be bigger, but I think the kid ones are pretty, they would be under 400. I mean, they're not much bigger than what these two are in right now, and we fall within that weight limit, I think.
I think we could probably have some signage out there or something with the weight limit.
Yeah, oh yeah, we
On
would
it, and then-
absolutely, you know, have to put some signage as far as, you know, this is for use of wheelchairs only, you know, things like that. Yeah.
As far as, so obviously, we'd be looking for community donations of money. Would there be any use for community donations of like equipment or material? Like, does this include concrete work, and if we had a construction
Yeah,
company, I'll donate all the concrete work.
You
Is
know,
that something we'd be interested in?
For example, like Sheldon Torkelson, who's local, does concrete, if he was to donate the work, absolutely, yeah.
And we can include that all kind of in the flyer of what, like, obviously money be our principal thing, but I can see some of those companies saying, like, we're gonna do a big concrete job, we'll line it up at the same time and come by with the
Yep.
rest of the concrete and make that or something. Do you guys have any questions or thoughts? Yeah.
Looking around for like
Mhm.
organizations, what
Yeah.
do they have programs like that?
Yeah, they look very much community that way. I haven't looked into that one yet, but I know, like, I did a lot, most of the grants I've done were local ones, or ones that focused on accessible playgrounds. And they all basically, I don't know if those would be the same if they wanted to see that we have money first, or if they would donate from zero.
So we're going from $100,000 that you were looking at, from
Like
15
Yeah.
on the high side.
15 on the high side.
Yep.
I think we,
So the structure is 5.
The structure with the swings, so everything in that picture is
Is five.
$5,000.
I'd like to try and get Mayo to pay for that, and I will do that contact.
Okay.
Once you get something put together on a flyer.
Yep,
I think I think we
a
could.
lot more reasonable.
Well,
Well, yeah, look, we're going down to, wow.
I just see them doing something for us.
The problem is there's not a lot of options that are on the market for wheelchair accessible swings. You know, like I said, when I started, I was shooting for the moon, and that seemed the safest option, but there's like 3 options out there that I've found and through research, and there's a lot of companies that don't even want to touch it. So, after going from $100,000 all said and done down to $15,000, I think that's reasonable to at least get something accomplished with this project.
So are you thinking we're gonna have it tied up each night too, like Byron does?
No,
Because we're more in
so
the open, or-
they don't.
Okay,
Like I said, this is why I like it, the location of it at, it's in a very heavily populated park with the pool. It's right next to the pool. I don't foresee there being issues, and if for some reason there are, we'll have to address it at the time.
I guess I could kind of speak on behalf of that.
Yep.
Part of the police. We patrol North Park heavily at night, kicking the kids out who are there at 2 in the morning and whatnot. So I know I could just easily say something if this was to be built and whatnot. Hey, this is in here, watch out for this area to make sure kids aren't messing with it and whatnot. So
And to be
it's
honest with
heavily
you,
patrolled.
the only time we ever have any issues at that park at night is out by the concessions.
Yeah.
So
We
it's,
kick a lot of them out of there.
yep, it's out and about and like away from where people can see you, so I don't feel that we're gonna have issues with it.
Should get a bit of light from the lights at the pool. as
Oh,
well,
yeah, yep.
During the night as well.
And if we do have issues, can we put the cameras like we have at the other areas?
Yeah, I can, yep. We can make things work, so.
Just a comment on a fundraising flyer, if there was a bit of a menu of something somebody could sponsor, hey, the wood chips might be a low dollar value something, or maybe someone wants to spend $5,000 on something, and kind of give them
Yeah.
a little menu to,
So like I said, I kinda have it broke down, so like the plastic timbers, which is the border around the area, is about $1,000. The mulch is gonna be about $2,000. Concrete, I estimated that very high, thinking that I would include that rubber top at $3,000. So that's gonna be, I think that's very high for what I priced that out at. The fabric and rock that goes below the wood chips, $1,500, and then the swing at $5,000. So that could be something that we could throw in that flyer so people can at least see, what the cost of everything is, and if they wanna put, $500 towards the mulch or whatever. Yep.
So I guess next step, then, do you wanna work on, like, between you and I, we can get that flyer kinda made?
I think that would be the first step.
Yeah.
Get a flyer made, get price broken down, include the picture,
And then I think between me and the families, if you guys are all willing. Yeah. we did talk about like having a plaque of donated, and I would assume, I bet John Hanson would
Yeah,
be more
yep.
than happy to,
know
he
a lot
probably
of
would donate
like-
that,
They don't,
to put their name on it. But I think between like all of the families, if we all, between me and them, we took them out to community members, and then we could attach that to like, you know, like bigger places. I know Think Bank is one that's usually pretty generous and does some big donations, Mayo, send those to them, but I think in person, if this group was willing to go around in person to the community and talk to people, and I know you've done, I think you've talked to a couple people too. that
Yep.
you kind of know. So, do that, and then I guess, can you or the city, like, how would they donate? Where's that fund gonna be, and can you start a bank?
I got, we're on the Veterans Memorial Committee, and the very first thing we did was set up a bank account.
Okay.
And so we got the bank account number and everything, so if anybody's gonna donate any money, it should go straight to there. I wouldn't give any to the city.
Okay. So
And
would you guys set that bank account up then, or do you want me to set that bank account up?
You, I would say you.
Okay.
So Sarah, we need to be careful with that because of tax.
If it's under,
We
yeah.
need to make sure that it's.
Because it wouldn't,
Why
it
aren't
want to be
we
on my
doing
name,
that?
right?
Why wouldn't we set up that?
That's,
Because you're gonna pay taxes on
that's
anything
what he
you
just said
collect.
too.
So it has to be set up as some kind of fund, like a business or something, so that she's not held responsible.
This might be something we ask Tim.
Yep,
yeah,
so,
okay, well, yeah.
Tim is on vacation, so as soon as he comes back, I will have a chat with him about that.
It's something probably more for tax, like not under like a person.
Right, it would, so at least that it's on the city and it's not taxable and,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that we were just talking about, has there been any consideration about like a shade structure? Because like these kids, they can't really keep sunglasses, hats, stuff on. So I know they have those sail type shades, you know, the cloth ones.
yep, I know what you're talking about, yep. I would have no problem adding that. Obviously, that's not put into that cost. No, you know, if for some reason we were to raise enough money, that would be, we could add that. I would have to go on and figure out what the cost for something like that would be, but I would have no problem doing that.
That would be something to add to our flyer, like, these are things that are wish list items that would make this project better if we can get more funding. You know, so people aren't like, well, if you get 12,000, that's good. Like,
Right.
that's great, but also, like, these guys deserve more than,
Right, so like if we get past that number, here's what the other options,
Yeah.
or things that we would like to put into that.
So you could do like a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then break it down money-wise, and then if we could.
Yep.
kind of say that little thermometer, so hey, we hit this mark, we hit this mark, so.
Sure.
Can the city just set up something on the side?
That would be a great question for Tim.
Right.
and I think too, if we can get to the point where we have, say we have like $5,000 or $10,000, and then I go back to some of those, like the Rochester Area Foundation was one who was really interested in the project, but just knowing the amount we were looking for and that we didn't have anything, I don't think they felt confident giving us money for it because of that, but if I said I have $10,000, I need $5,000 more to make this happen, I think they'd be much more likely to do that.
Sure. Yeah, it would be nice if we could get, you know, get the flyer put together, get an account set up, and if we can get something in that account, and then really start pushing.
Have we brought this up to the joint
Yeah.
ventures group?
So, I actually had a joint ventures meeting, last week, and kinda had just thrown at them that this was an idea. You know, I revised the idea, and they were more, basically they were like, okay, well, next meeting we'll be looking for what you're gonna ask for.
I would say have Sarah go to that meeting too. It's usually
Yep.
before school.
Yep.
just because is it our turn yet?
I mean, it's been focused primarily on Manorville and the school, so.
Yep, and we are paying twice as much as Manorville, so maybe it's time we,
What are
Yeah.
the school reps on that, Ryan?
well, the superintendent, and then
JJ,
JJ,
Christian Unger.
yep, grounds crew, and then the mayor. I'm supposed to be on it, but Carlin doesn't send me the links to the meetings.
You want me to tell you when they are?
Yes.
Okay.
She stopped doing that when Mark was superintendent. No comment there. So,
But yeah, they know that we'll be asking for something for that.
I think it's time we,
And it does benefit, because they go, I mean, most grades go to Veterans Memorial Park at least once a year for field trips, for activities. And these kids either don't get to go, or they go get put in the gazebo or in the shade somewhere. So I think it does benefit the school, whether they see it or not.
do you know how much is in their funds right now? It's met last week.
Not right off the top of my head, no. More than enough for this project, we'll just leave it at that.
So it had to be over 30,000 the last meeting
Yeah.
I went to.
If we even got a fraction of that, that would be a big chunk of
Yeah.
what we need here, and then I'm hopeful the community is more generous, and we think they're gonna, I think there's a lot of people in the community who are connected to somebody who would benefit from this, either now or in the past, that will have a soft spot for this project.
Would the Legion and like a burger night, would that be something that could be done
Already owes
to?
me money, yes, maybe for a
You know who else you could talk to is the Lions Club.
Yeah,
Yep.
They've donated to other
Brett's
projects.
not at the Legion anymore.
well, I know, but he can let people there know that he has not.
And I could even talk to Mark Packard with the Lions Club.
Yeah. I know like Kingdom Telecom at one time said they were interested in Bradford.
Yep.
The way it's sounding, you could probably collect enough for two of these.
That's what I'm hoping, that we get to the point where we do have like the money to fund this and then do some of those other things along with it.
So the way the way I kinda looked at this is, I would love to get this in the park to begin with, right? We're building parks, we have future to build more and more parks, right? I would love to eventually maybe move that swing that we get, that's on this picture, to a different park, and put that
Yeah.
nice, big, Taj Mahal
Like,
swing.
like the age of the veterans right now, like when does that park need like up for replacement or?
Right. So like, 'cause our next project is at Northeast Ball Diamond, that would be the next modular that's gonna get put in. And, I mean, I have plans for other ones, obviously, that's way down the road, but I would love to eventually say, hey, we can move this swing and get a different one here and move it to another park, so it's not just one park that we have, inclusive swing at.
Yeah.
We can start making it all of our parks. Or like Lions Park would be a great park to add something like that. We got tons of room out there, and it's a heavily populated park.
Is the molded swing a good addition that you guys see value in?
I think it depends on the kid, I guess you guys can probably talk more on that.
Yeah, like for us, I don't think we would use it, just pick up a 50-pound kid to try to put them in something that swings or moves, that's really challenging to do that. But the one we can just push his wheelchair on, perfect, that'll be great.
So there,
For us, our daughter can use both easily.
okay.
She has used both, so.
So what, when I looked at it, there's an option for, you can have two platform, so, I mean, we wouldn't have to just have the molded, we could have swapped that out for another platform. But the only thing is I would need to know what you guys want to decide on, because that means I have to pour concrete up to that now other platform. Because it's not realistic to ask parents to push their child through a foot worth of wood chips. You know, they say that that's acceptable, but it's not.
Not acceptable.
So that's just, I mean, I did this one just because I wanted it to be universal towards more than just one individual. If there's a need for 2 platform swings, then we'll have to revisit the cost a little bit.
One of each would be
I think, yeah,
fine.
I think one of each is cool.
Yep.
Okay,
It's really inclusive then for both needs.
okay. So we'll just stay with the way it is, okay. Anything else?
We'll work on the flyers.
Yep, me and you will be in touch.
Have an account set up,
Yep,
and then as soon as we have those flyers, I think I can just get a ton of them for sale, and
Well,
then
we're
first.
fundraising.
perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in.
And then, join us for the next
Yeah.
park board meeting.
And I'll keep in touch if we, you know, at our next meeting, I'll stay in contact with you if there's stuff to revisit.
Yeah, that sounds good, and let me know if you want, like, I can come someday, too, like, even like during the workday, I could probably sneak away and we could make the flyers.
Okay, okay.
Together, if you wanna make them, send them over.
That sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Oh, crazy. That's just cool. I think that's great. All right, Dylan.
Sorry.
Didn't need any motions or anything on that, did we?
I don't know.
I don't believe we did.
Hi, I'm Dylan Mize from Troop 231. I am a Boy Scout. I'm in life rank right now, which is the second to last rank. It goes Star Life Eagle, so in order for me to get my Eagle, I need to do something that will help benefit the community, and what I settled on was making helmet racks at both North Parks and Manor Field, but today I'll be talking about the North Park helmet racks I'll be putting up. I have a scale, like, blueprint. There's, that's there. Each tile represents like 1 inch, and that's like the frontal view, and on the back you can see like the side. It will be 64 inches long and 34 inches high, with like the depth of each cubby being 12 inches. It will be 3 cubbies high and 5 long, and it will be right as you walk into the dugouts. There's the bench, and then the backrest, and then there's a platform above the bench. I plan on putting it on the platform above the bench and screwing it in there. I think it will be beneficial to baseball because I personally play baseball, and I played at a lot of fields with helmet racks, and it's just really good to have them because it helps keep the dugout picked up, and coaches are always on us kids to keep the dugout nice and clean, keep a clear pathway, and I feel like with this helmet rack, it will help keep the aisles clean and prevent like potential tripping hazards and stuff like that. The Baseball Association said that they will help, or they will fund this by asking like all of their sponsors, and yeah.
Have you been out there and kinda done some measurements?
Yeah, I've done some measurements, and
Okay.
it has plenty of space because there's like no boards in the way of how long it goes, and personally, I have a big head, so I use my I use my helmet to scale how big the cubbies need to be, and my helmet's an XL, so I doubt anybody's gonna get much bigger than that, so the cubbies will be plenty of space for a helmet. I think it's a 12 by 12 by 12 for each cubby. Yeah, and there'll be 15 total, but I'll put 2 at each field, 1 in each dugout, so a total of 4 of these.
You have a projected start time, finish time?
I hope to start soon. It depends on when I'm able to, okay, so our school has a really nice wood shop, and I plan on getting my materials or asking for permission to see if I'd be able to make my project in there. If not, I have connections with, my grandparents. They have a lot of wood, processing stuff, 'cause one of my grandparents is a farmer, so he has plenty of tools. And I plan on doing it in the really nice school wood shop, so it depends on when I'll be able to get access to that and when I'll be able to get my materials.
Are you gonna use like green treated wood?
Yes, I will be using treated plywood, and I'll also be sealing it too.
Okay.
I don't see why not.
I didn't think anyone would have any issues with this. The only reason why I asked him to come here is I wanted him to present it.
Yep.
And I think you got a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Anything that, throughout you working on this project, anything that I can help you with, you know, as far as if you need help installing it or anything like that, don't be afraid to email me. My guys would be more than happy to give you a hand in any way, you know.
Okay.
Do you know if there's any regulations of clearance for a walkway or entranceway that this might impede at all?
So, this wouldn't impede anything because it would go on the back of the bench that's in the dugouts.
Up
So it
above?
would be against kind of the fencing, yep.
Okay.
So it's a good spot for it. It would be off the ground, so it's not like if water's sitting in there, it's gonna get, I think it's a good spot for it.
Sure.
And I think it's something that's definitely needed in there, whether you're putting helmets or bags or something, keeps them off the floor, like he had said, so.
The backside would see some weather and
Yep.
rain, but otherwise it'd be pretty protected.
Yep, and there's some overhang off, you know, the roof, but it would definitely get yes, it would get wet on a stiff rain with the wind and, yep.
Mhm.
But no more than what the benches already get,
Sure.
so.
Yep, yep. Well, any other discussion? Fine. Do we need a motion, or can we just let them?
I think we need a motion.
Okay, so I'd like to, have a motion there for Dylan Weiss to build his Eagle Scout project at the ballparks.
I'll make that motion, for the helmet racks to be built at our dugouts by Dylan Wise's Eagle Scout project.
Oh, good, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, you're in business.
Thank you,
Thank
Dylan.
you. Thank you for your time.
Don't be afraid to email me,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Give me updates, whatever you want, need help, let me know.
I plan on hopefully within a month I can get them in, hopefully,
Okay,
if everything goes well.
just work with me. If you need help installing them or hauling them out there, I'll help you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yep.
Good job.
Good job. Mhm. All right. Old business, park improvements and volleyball courts.
Okay, so part of the addition of 2 new sand volleyball courts, I know I think I kind of touched base with this. It's pretty inexpensive, improvement. Is this something we want to push for this year, next year? At some point, when we get our Veterans Memorial done, we will be removing the court that's existing. I'm not sure what our timeline is gonna look like this year of getting it done. This modular that we got for Northeast is quite more extensive than I had anticipated. I just don't know what it's gonna take, 'cause every time we put a post in the ground, we have to cement it, and then you have to wait so long for it to cure, and then we keep adding on. I don't know what the weather's gonna be like. I would love to, and on top of that, the electric department's gonna have to move, electrical box that's in the area where we're planning to put the 2 courts.
Where are they going?
They would go on the farthest east lot behind the house, right here.
Okay, that's city property.
The only thing that we would, I wouldn't say have to do, but we should do, would be to put a fence between that house and the courts, which would be the house that's on the south side, so Shay's house.
So who has those, there's signs there now that say don't cut through here? or something like that?
That's actually down here.
Further down?
Yep.
Okay, got
So
it.
this whole lot is ours there.
Gotcha.
And I've already kinda mapped it out where 2 sand courts would fit in there.
Is there good drainage over there?
That's kind of, well, it's actually really dry over there. It's about the only thing that's dry in that part of the park. The wet spots are down by the shop there. There's obviously gonna be a little more engineering into it than just telling you guys, we can just get it done, you know? But I don't see, if we're gonna proceed with the project of the wheelchair swing, that's a lot less than what we had anticipated, you know, from that 100,000.
Yeah.
I could foresee this project potentially getting completed this year, the swing. I just don't wanna bite off too much, 'cause we do have stuff in the streets department that we're gonna do new this year. But I just kinda wanna pick your guys' brain on the next.
I wouldn't worry about the volleyball courts
Okay.
right now.
I just,
Right now,
I
get your
would think
modular
that-
done.
I haven't had a lot of, you know, 2 years ago, I had a question about starting a league there. And then it kinda fell apart, but I haven't heard anything else on it. So I just don't wanna like rush into something that's not gonna get utilized.
Otherwise, it's just a giant sandbox.
Yeah. So I guess we'll keep that on the back burner, but it
Right.
could be something that, you know, it's.
Might even been closer we get to the, memorial, maybe.
Because there's no reason that has to be moved until the memorial is ready to
Correct,
be put in
correct.
anyway. So I don't think it's like I don't
Okay.
think it's something that we have to do urgently.
I'll kinda have that lead into my next thing, which isn't really on the list. Do we want to remove the existing memorial sooner than later, or do we wanna wait till we have something set in concrete, like timeline?
I think we wait.
I'd wait.
Okay.
I would wait.
I mean, I hate it. It looks
I know,
terrible,
it's
but I also don't wanna remove it and have nothing.
Right.
People who don't know what it looks like, it might sound bad that it got tore out.
Right.
Them not knowing what condition it's in.
Okay, we'll wait on that then. The other item was, parking area at Northwest Soccer Field. So my plan is we have a massive pile of reclaim, and I would like to utilize that. We could screen it and build a better parking area. This spring, youth soccer is gonna utilize that field. I think it's U8, I don't know. They're running out of space, but it's nice that area is gonna get utilized other than football in the fall. So we're gonna try to build a better parking area than just a grass field on that side.
Are we in charge of mowing that then?
Yeah. That is
It's nice
our.
to have a nicely mowed field.
Yep, so that was kind of, you know, for everyone here, everyone knows that some of the city properties are contracted out. I was able to get us Northeast Diamond and the soccer field back on my guys' list. It's hard to have a contract mowing company mow a ball field when you need to be mowed at certain times of the day or before, you know, and the soccer field's one of them. Working with their program, you know, they're gonna want it mowed before they go out and stripe it, otherwise you come in and mow it after it, then there goes the paint. So it's kinda nice to have some of those park properties that are athletic fields back in our hands. And I guess we could move on to pickleball. I still think that's something we need to look into in the future. I'm not saying, obviously not this year. The one nice thing is Manorville is moving forward with 3 pickleball courts at, Slingerland Park. So that...
Where's that?
That is just west of, like, the old relay station.
Oh, is
Up
that
the
where they
road.
got the, that doggy run?
Nope, that's up by the water tower.
Oh, okay.
So where the
That-
saloon and...
It's a block west of the
Oh.
saloon.
Yep,
All right.
Small playground, and
Yep.
then a bunch
Gotcha.
of grass area.
Yep. Their plan is to build 3 courts up there with a warm-up area,
Hmm.
all out of concrete, and sound bearing, like felt in the fence for sound and,
We
but
wait and see how readily used theirs is before we really jump into too much, 'cause it seems like every meeting, someone comes and asks for a new baseball field, a new football field, a new soccer field, a complex. It's hard to keep saying no, 'cause there's no funds for it. And it's a lot of money for one, just one, what is it, $80,000 per
So,
pickleball court roughly?
when I spoke with Joe, and so, I'm not 100% sure how it's all funded. He said it was about $150,000, all said and done. Now, I have a hard time I don't know if that's what Manorville's paying, or,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, but that's a lot of concrete for 3 courts, fencing,
Yeah.
sound barrier, and, painting the lines and the nets and stuff.
Everything.
I don't know if that's really what the price is. So, I mean, I would like to see sometime that we at least get one more court at Lions. Not saying we have to build the 3 that I had initially
Sure.
thought we should do, but if we could at least get another court.
We had looked at putting a court in downtown.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
There wasn't enough room.
Right. And in my opinion, that would have been a pretty good area as far as, for the most part, the demographic that's playing pickleball is older people. The Legion's right there, there's still food there, but it wasn't gonna fit, and then we're looking at courts going east and west, and they said absolutely not, they don't like that. I just think if we do build a court, we have to build it to what they want, otherwise it's not gonna get used.
Mhm.
And going back to like the Northwest soccer field, so, you know, is it Oscar Meadows that's over by Wilkers?
Northwest. Yeah.
So that's getting developed. The agreement was, instead of parkland, that they're gonna put a trail from essentially where 16th Street is gonna come through at.
Mhm.
It's gonna go through Oscar Meadows, and it's gonna end up going through Northwest Park. So that side of town's getting more populated. Back to my discussion from the last meeting, if anyone remembers, we could potentially think about getting a modular out there. I'm not saying in the next year, but at least in the next couple of years,
Mhm.
we should think about a modular in that area.
Nice to have the parking done beforehand,
Yeah.
maybe.
The pickleball is, yeah, that's just gonna have to be a future. It's gonna have to.
I'm okay
And I
with
like what you suggest there. Let's wait and see what happens in Manorville.
Maybe get some numbers from Joe where they actually,
Yeah.
where he got that number from, what bids were there, and
Yeah, I just find that pretty hard to believe.
that seems like a buy two, get one free type situation almost.
Sure.
That's, I don't know how that works.
Right.
'Cause that's, I mean, we've sat and talked about those numbers before, and that seems astronomically low. Maybe they had money already saved up or set aside, I don't
And
know.
like I said, I don't know what, like, it's Friends of Manorville that had started it, so I don't know if they had, money saved up prior, so.
And if they're going that low quality, what's gonna happen? How long's it gonna last? How long's it?
From last August, I think they were talking about the Byron setup. It was 8 courts with lights for 400.
So,
I know
guessing the more-
Manorville is not putting lights in due to flack from neighbors. The pickleball noise is a pretty big topic of discussion with neighboring.
Doesn't get that loud, does it?
Interesting.
Pickleball?
Oh, there's
complained
articles,
about, they complain about the baseball field noise, they complain about the dog park noise, they're gonna complain about that.
there's articles on it, so.
Okay.
So I guess those were just really, I wanted to pick your guys' brains. Those are projects far out. Obviously, we're gonna focus on the wheelchair swing currently and getting Northeast Park done, which I'm excited for.
All right. Anything else on that?
Nope.
Okay. KVM update. We're meeting next week,
Yep.
next Monday.
I was not at the last meeting. If you guys don't know, I have a new member in my family, so I was. So I guess I don't know if we have any other updates.
Not really. Everything's kinda, we're still trying to hash together, fundraising and I had a meeting with the Lions. We put on a little presentation with the Lions, so we've definitely got their support in this whole thing. And, we'll just keep moving forward.
I've been talking with, John Buchanan about, there was some discussion about, potential, billboard sounds kinda large, but a sign to go out at Veterans Park in that area of where the memorial would go.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Um,
And it's gonna have a picture of the memorial on it.
Yep, like future, obviously this would get run through Park Board before it would get installed, but what's everyone's opinion as far as putting, something like that in the park?
Problem with it, I just wanna make sure we're close enough to where we have enough money in the budget to where it's, okay, we have an end date, we got an idea of where,
Yep.
how much longer this is gonna
Instead of
take.
it to be like, here's our pipe
Oh,
dream.
right.
Yeah, like, hey, in fall of 2024, our condos
Yep.
are gonna open, and it's 2 years later, and they're not
Right.
open yet.
That makes sense, I mean, I
I
get
just don't wanna
that.
put a date on there, and then we
Or
don't,
3 years from it.
and the sign's up there longer than the memorial.
Yep.
So that's my only thing, is what dollar figure do you say, yeah, let's put the sign up?
And, and the longer that this carries on, the more that dollar figure goes up.
Yep.
So where I was at with, whatever it was, 100 and some thousand or whatever it was, that's going up every year, So I agree, if, until we know where we're at exactly,
Mhm.
have some more things locked in place, we can wait on something like that.
There's a golf tournament scheduled, the Lions actually said, I talked to one of the board members, and what they do during the festival is whatever money they raise, they sometimes give it away. So it's like, one of the guys I was talking to, a board member, he says, well, I'll bring it up and see what
For
they
their
say.
stands,
For their stand.
food stand?
And they'd work it, and it's
Yep.
like, okay, I'm for that.
I have in my notes from last month that we were applying for a $110,000 grant.
We're still waiting.
Still haven't heard from that.
That's about it.
Did you guys want something at the festival again this year?
Yeah, I was gonna talk to you about it, you know, later on here. So, all right. Aquatic Center heater.
So we had a little snafu with the proposal for redoing that lap pool heater. They quoted me at 10,000. They failed to, put in the heat exchanger in that quote.
Oh, how much is that?
Well, we're at about 20,000.
Double.
Okay.
Now, some of that price includes, let's see here.
Was that was preventative?
This heater is preventative, yes.
So the one that was broken?
So the activity pool that was broken, we put 14,000 into.
And that's good for?
That's good now.
Yeah.
I mean, we essentially rebuilt the entire, without buying a new one, right? So I had Superior give me a breakdown of everything. So that heat exchanger alone is over $8,000. Now, there's a couple things in there. So there's probably, let's see, there's $5,000 that goes for both heaters. They're mixing valves, actuators. We had to replace part of some of that with the other heater 2 years ago, which was about $1,000. We moved forward, we ordered all the parts, we're just waiting on the heat exchanger, everything's in. He explained to me that they got kind of burned on the last one, which I do understand. The parts in our part book were wrong, so they ordered burner trays that they thought might only be like $500 or whatever it was, and they ended up being double. Well, they ended up eating that cost. So, I guess I sat down with Tim and let him know what was going on. We're moving forward. I'm not gonna deal with a heater that goes down again. Especially in that lap pool, because if that gets cold, that's cold.
No one's gonna want to, you have a lot of people on that.
Yeah. So I guess,
All your
you know,
swimming lessons.
unfortunately, you know, our cost went up quite a bit on that one, but I just, once again, you know, a new heater is upwards of $35,000.
And this is replacing enough of the parts that it's kinda like a new heater?
Essentially, yeah, yep.
Did we ever decide on if we can allow for two parties at the same time? Because that could bring in some of the revenue to cover that.
And I think we all agreed on that at the last meeting.
Yeah, we did. It's
Yep.
in the meetings. Yep.
We already set the costs for the year.
Yep,
There's nothing really we can do.
no.
That's good to know.
I'm just hoping that we can utilize the pool more with, being able to double book parties and,
And it'll depend on Mother Nature too, so.
yeah, we need a good year.
Yep.
Last year was not, very good with weather-wise.
All right. That's it?
Yeah. that's
Nothing to
it.
add?
Oh,
Nothing,
couple of things to add. Try to make it quick. Adult softball, they contacted me, they're looking at Sunday nights.
What has it been?
Thursday nights. A lot of surrounding areas are Thursday night softball. We are an unsanctioned league. It's a come have fun type of league. They approached me about Sunday nights. I don't have a problem with Sunday nights. I just told them every once in a while there might be a 14U, 12U, whatever. I have to touch base with like Eric Grokey or whomever does the youth programs to make sure it doesn't conflict. So I guess whatever we wanna do, Mitch Stenzel is the one kind of organizing it. He seems to think this could potentially take off. We might be able to get enough teams for using 2 fields. I said, well, let's just pump the brakes. We'll focus on filling up North 1 like we have in the past. We could even start it at 5 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock, because they've been doing 7, 8, and 9. We could do 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Depending on how many. So, I guess I'd like to try to move forward with that.
It used to be so big here.
Yeah.
3 or 4 nights a week, it was full. But it's like anything else, it comes and goes, ebbs and flows.
So if we can, if changing the night makes a difference, figure we'd try it.
Any issues then with getting lines chalked or fields done?
So that's gonna be something I'm gonna have to sit down and hatch out with him, because we'll do it Friday night, or Friday, but we're not,
You're not
we're not coming in on the weekend to chalk
We're
out
not paying
lines.
overtime for that, no.
And I think with them, they're pretty good about not caring about it, especially with it being unsanctioned. It's not like they're really playing for anything. They're
Chuck.
there to enjoy themselves. So, I think they'll be pretty laid back about that, and that was made clear to him when he had asked about Sunday nights.
Have any pricing for them?
We'll be at that 300 again.
Oh, okay.
It's not sanctioned, yeah, and no umps.
Yep. And then, I guess the last thing is pop machines at North Park. I wanna get rid of them.
They're by the shed that gets vandalized.
The concession shed and then our park shed.
Can you repurpose it to somewhere else, or you just wanna get rid of it?
I wanna be done with them.
Okay.
I think Corey, my lead, had told me we should just get rid of one for now, keep the one up at the park shop, see how it goes this year. We've had a lot of leftovers, and we did increase the price, but we were losing a lot of money. We weren't making any money off those pop machines, we were losing money. But he suggested 100%, let's get rid of the one at the concession stands. That's the one that got vandalized the one year. He said, let's keep the one at the park shop. It's close, where all the people are most of the time, and see how it goes. If we have a lot left over again, we'll be done.
What's the current program? Do we own the machines?
No, they're rented through Pepsi.
And then Pepsi delivers?
Yep, Pepsi
and But you guys stock it?
Yep,
They fix them up after they've been vandalized. the whole-
that too, yep.
I'm in favor of getting rid of the one at the North Park.
I
There'd be less reason for kids to be over there at night.
Right, it's just one less thing for us to have to, we have a lot of pop that's expired,
Oh, yeah.
you can't sell it. My guys have tried it, it's terrible, it's flat, it's gross, 2 years old or whatever, why waste time? People it's not like it used to be when, me and you were kids, you go to the pop machine at the
Yeah.
park.
Well, it was used when you're talking softball night and everything, like you said, softball used to be a super
Right.
busy, and it was busy every night, and now it's like,
And it's not that we couldn't eventually put them back out there,
Right. It's easy to turn back on.
for the sake of someone vandalizing them again, or, at least the one at the park shop, there's a camera right on it. Now there's one on the one at the concessions now, but at the time there wasn't.
We're losing money on it. That's kind of a no-brainer.
Right.
To get rid of it.
You don't see a need for it at Lions Park?
No, I don't even wanna go down that road.
Yeah. If you don't see a need for them, I'm fine with getting rid of them.
Okay. Do we wanna do a motion for that?
Yeah, I might have to.
right. A motion to remove the pop machine at the concession stand at the North Park.
I make a motion to remove that pop machine.
Have a second?
Second it.
Okay. Motion and a second. Any other conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There you go.
Okay, that's all I got.
I don't really have anything for correspondence either, so if I get a motion to adjourn,
Make the motion.
second? Okay, motion is second. All in favor? I think.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye, all right. Have a good night. It's good to see everybody again.
Button. Right behind you.